Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something literally crucial for all you Dynamics 365 partners out there. We're talking about making a fundamental shift. Moving away from just passively accepting auto updates and instead taking charge with a deliberate scheduling strategy. Because at the end of the day, this is all about proactively protecting your clients' environments from totally unexpected downtime and keeping their operations running smoothly.
So, I want you to picture this absolute nightmare scenario. And let's be real, a lot of us have been there. It's Monday morning, you're just getting your coffee, and the phone rings. Your client's production environment is completely acting up. Why? Well, over the weekend, they got bumped up to a brand new version of Business Central. But then Microsoft realizes, there's a critical issue in this release. This literally just happened recently with the BC28 rollout. So Microsoft slams on the brakes, they pause the entire global rollout to figure out a fix, and that can take days. The real problem here? Your client was an early adopter. Now they're trapped on that buggy version, while everyone else who hadn't updated yet is sitting pretty and perfectly safe. This isn't just some theoretical edge case. It's a very real risk that we absolutely have to manage.
To make sure you never have to deal with that late-night panic, we've put together a tactical playbook. We're covering the rollout pause trap, an essential setup checklist, how to take control of scheduling, verifying your settings, and finally, explaining these updates to your clients.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the rollout pause trap, and what happens when Microsoft spots a critical issue mid-rollout. Think of it like this. The default auto updater, the early adopter, is totally stuck in the mud when a pause hits. They got the buggy version. And guess what? There is no magic rollback button for environments that have already successfully updated. No way. But consider the deliberately scheduled delayed updater. Because they held off, they are safely shielded. They get to stay on the previous stable version while Microsoft scrambles to iron out those bugs.
Let's define what a postponed rollout actually means. When Microsoft pauses updates, any environment that was supposed to update during that pause is held back. It automatically gets rescheduled to 7 days after its original date. But, and I really need to stress this, environments that already updated remain stuck on the new version with whatever bug caused the pause in the first place. And you know what? Postponed rollouts are a reoccurring pattern in almost every single major release. The tools to manage this have always been there, but honestly, a lot of partners just don't think about it until production literally breaks. Deliberate scheduling isn't just nice to have, it's an absolute necessity.
Moving on to Section 2, our essential partner setup checklist. Let's get into the practical configuration you need to execute for every single client environment.
There are 3 totally non-negotiable configuration steps here. First, you've got to add your team's admin emails to the Notification Recipients tab. Second, whitelist no reply -dynamics365@microsoft.com. Listen, if your client's strict corporate email filters send these alerts straight to spam, you are flying completely blind. And third, you have to actively set an update window of at least 6 hours, and it needs to be strictly outside of their regular business hours. This covers both major and minor updates, making sure their actual workday is never interrupted.
It is super crucial to understand exactly why those notifications are your lifeline. Without them, you won't even know if a rollout is paused or resumed. But the real kicker? You're going to miss warnings about per-tenant extension or PTE compatibility issues. See, Microsoft routinely checks if extensions are compatible before a major update. If you miss that warning email, the first time you hear about an incompatible custom extension is when the update completely fails. And worse, if it stays incompatible past Microsoft's grace period, they will literally force update the environment and just uninstall the problematic extension entirely. Talk about a disaster.
All right, Section 3, take control of scheduling. Now that we have our safety net set up, we need to master the timeline.
Let's talk about the safe zone for scheduling your major updates. When a new release hits general availability, or GA, it kicks off a rollout that takes weeks. Those first 2 weeks, that is the absolute danger zone. It's when real-world production bugs surface, and it's when Microsoft is most likely to hit the pause button. So your target as a partner should be scheduling updates a few weeks after GA. You want to be sitting comfortably in that safe zone. You're well before the enforced deadline, and you totally avoid being the test cohort for a brand new release.
Let me just reiterate the golden rule of managing a SaaS ERP. You can delay, but you cannot skip. Every single environment is eventually going to hit that new major version. However, you have the power to actually go into the admin center, select a safe version, and pick the exact date yourself. Don't just accept whatever default date Microsoft throws at you. You need to take active control here.
Setting it up once just isn't enough.
Let's hit section 4, verifying your update settings and building an ongoing routine.
You really need to make this a habit. Open up your Admin Center environments list, click on a specific environment, and actively hit Update Settings to check that time window and the scheduled date. Why does this have to be a routine? Well, because postponement banners are entirely passive. Sure, they'll show up at the top of the environments list during a pause, but they are not going to jump out and tap you on the shoulder. You have to actively log in and look for them during active rollout periods.
You also need to be super precise about your deadlines here. Do not blindly assume you have a full 5 months to delay an update. I know that's what Microsoft localized environments usually offer, but partner localized environments, they often have a way shorter window, sometimes roughly just 60 days to schedule that major update. So always check the Update to Next Major Before field so you know exactly how much runway you actually have.
Finally, let's look at Section 5, explaining updates to clients. We've got the technical side locked down, but how do we frame this as a huge win for the customer? I want you to steal this exact script for your next quarterly client review. Seriously, write this down. When a client asks about system updates, you tell them, we deliberately schedule your system updates a few weeks after release. This ensures any initial bugs are caught by Microsoft before they ever touch your production environment. Boom. What they might have thought was just a delay is instantly transformed into this high-value, proactive managed service that you're providing. When you frame the conversation like this, you're showing them exactly how you mitigate the risk of downtime. You're reassuring them that maintenance only happens out of hours, so their warehouse or finance teams are never disrupted. Plus, you're proving that you actively ensure their custom extensions are perfectly compatible before the core system even changes. Essentially, you are positioning yourself as their ultimate shield against software chaos.
Which brings us to a final, pretty provocative thought. Who is really in control of your client's ERP today? Are you just letting some default automated algorithm dictate your client's stability? Or are you stepping up and deliberately managing it? I highly encourage you to log into your Admin Center right now, today. Audit those notification recipients, verify your update windows, and take absolute active control over your client's update schedules. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.